During challenging times, our normal routines can be interrupted. Our priorities might shift. Our plans may change direction. The more widespread the adversity, the more pronounced the impact on society can be. When people are faced with broad societal changes, they're forced to adjust their behavior and adapt their lives to the new normal. People react to the changing world, and the world changes as a result. For brands and companies that sell goods and services, the new landscape can be a real challenge.
Hello, I'm Gregg Guest, Vice President at FADEL, where we specialize in helping brands manage, leverage, and protect their digital assets. I'm coming to you on video today because this is our new normal. What used to be face-to-face is now cam-to-cam. With a large percentage of the world on lockdown or practicing social distancing, the entire landscape has changed. Working now means commuting down the hallway to your home office and figuring out how to use video meetings and collaboration tools. Shopping now means contactless delivery or braving a trip to the grocery and trying to avoid others. The stock market is way down. Unemployment claims are way up. For some brands that market goods and services to consumers, this changing landscape may mean shuttered stores, reduced sales, or even layoffs or bankruptcy. For other brands, the current environment might actually represent an opportunity. As a digital marketer, your number one goal is to represent your brand positively through your content and marketing campaigns. In times like this, brand perception is more critical than ever, and it's important to understand how the current crisis might affect your brand and how your digital assets and marketing are being perceived by your customers. Like everyone else, your brand will most likely have to react to what's happening. To do this, you'll need to assess the changes that are occurring, adapt your brand, and alter your digital assets. When the landscape is changing rapidly, it helps to use a AAA approach. Assess, adapt, and act. Assess the change, adapt your brand to the new normal, and act to change your digital assets and marketing content. Let's look more closely at the current crisis and see how you can employ these tactics to adapt your digital assets and help you maintain brand positivity in challenging times. Start by assessing the change. Compare the norms of the past to the current trends. The new norms we're experiencing are things like social distancing, a focus on personal health, sheltering in place and staying at home, and an economic downturn. Be alert to the trends that these new norms will result in. Social distancing means less activity with others. A focus on personal health is going to lead to healthier lifestyles. Sheltering in place means working from home, which could result in loneliness or boredom. And an economic downturn tends to make people worry about spending money. Now, adapt your marketing to any risks or liabilities to your brand based on these trends. Does your brand involve sports or group activities? Do your products contribute to personal lifestyle, for example, food or beverage? Do you have an entertainment or outdoor-related brand? Do you offer luxury items or other expensive products? If your brand is at risk, you'll need to adapt your marketing content and digital assets to these trends. For example, change the focus from groups to more singular activities. Change messaging from potentially unhealthy options to more healthy ones. Change environments from outdoors to indoors or online. And change price points to create sales or specials. How you adopt your marketing and digital assets to the current landscape will determine how your brand is perceived and ultimately if you can weather the storm or not. Based on your assessment of the trends, you can now decide on a course of action. To determine where to start, ask yourself a few more questions. First, how likely is your brand's perception to be impacted? For some brands, the impact can be major. For others, it may not be. Figuring out your liability will help you know how quickly you need to act. Second, which of the changes most affects your demographic audience? This will help you figure out which digital assets to focus on by addressing specific age groups or audiences, such as the elderly or young children. Third, how big an impact is the visual nature of your brand? Are your brand assets centered around changing trends like eating out? This will help you figure out the scope of digital assets you need to worry about. And finally, what will still work and what needs to change? Some of your assets may remain useful even in the context of a new landscape. For example, a picture of an empty restaurant might still be okay. This will help you find digital assets you can use while you identify which ones need to be immediately removed or altered. Once you've assessed the challenge, adapted the brand, and determined how to act, you'll need specific tools and methods to find the digital assets that are affected and alter them or restrict them from use. DAM metadata can enable you to find relevant images. This is a great reason to make sure you have good metadata. If you can find digital assets by searching for group or sports or individual, you can quickly find usable assets or images you need to restrict immediately. Rights management tells you which digital assets you can use, since you might have to rapidly publish previously unused images or create new composite assets using various rights-managed content. By having usage rights available, you won't be slowed down with legal checks, and time is of the essence. Content tracking helps you remove questionable content from your sites. Image matching and video recognition software can help you find and remove specific images or videos that were published on the internet and social media. And finally, artificial intelligence can identify other risky images. Object identification, celebrity recognition, and other AI-based tools can be deployed to further identify images that you may need to worry about. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Now that you've taken action to maintain your brand's positivity in the midst of a crisis, you can begin to think about how to build for the future. Are there new opportunities? In most crises, there's an opportunity for growth if your brand is positioned correctly. Is your company able to help with the situation? Can you assist people by providing outreach, community resources, or other aid? Is your product an essential need? Do you offer products or services which have become necessary during and/or after the crisis? How can your brand continue to be successful? Can you adjust your sales and marketing to make it enticing enough for people to continue buying and using your products in the future? The answer to all of these questions lies in adapting the messaging in your digital assets to make the most of the situation. Maybe that means increasing your use of marketing content and advertising, or maybe it means scaling it back. But the companies that do well during challenging times are the ones that are able to adapt quickly and create specific digital assets and marketing campaigns that keep their brands in a positive light. How your brand manages its digital assets during challenging times will determine how well you survive them. So whatever challenge your brand faces and whatever changes come about in this uncertain world, remember to use the AAA approach. Assess the challenge, adapt your brand, and act by changing your assets and repositioning your content. Thank you for joining me today, and good luck as you adapt your brand to the rapidly changing landscape. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter @Gregg Guest.